Okay, guys, so this is going to be my review of Thor Across All Worlds. Now, this is not part of the Walter Simonson run. This is actually part of the Dan Jurgens run. It's about the trade itself, Across All Worlds. It collects issues 26 through 35. And so literally 10 issues, more or less. 10 to 12 issues, give or take. And more or less, this is a $30 comic right off the bat. But here's the fun thing: I got this for about $5. I was at a Books A Million. I was in a Thor mood because the day beforehand I had seen Thor: The Dark World, so I was like, I'm really in a Thor mood. I want to get something Thorish. And I had some money to spare, so I saw that, and I was like, oh my god, $5 for a $30 trade, and even less because I had the Books A Million discount card, so it was really $3. Yeah, $3 for for a $30 book. Yeah, shit, yeah. Yeah, so there's that. Also, what was I going to say? But pretty much, let me get into the gist of this book. This follows Thor in the guise of this human, his spirit he's bonded with, called Jake Olsen, and pretty much it's him balancing his life as this human disguised as Jake Olsen, as well as, at the same time, Odin has gone back into the Odin sleep, and instead of giving Thor Balder or some other god to lead to watch over Asgard in his stead, he's actually given, that title to Lady Sif. So this follows Lady Sif controlling Asgard while all this is going on. Now, if you're a Thor fan or you're looking for something with Thor in it, this has almost everything except Loki you'd want as a Thor fan. Everything in here except Loki is in this. You've got the Wrecking Crew, you've got Absorbing Man, you've got Malekith, you've got Curse, you've got Ulik, the Rock Trolls, you've even got Thor Girl, Beta Ray Bill, the Warriors 3. There's actually legitimate funny scenes with the Warriors 3 in here. Like, Thor takes them on a walk, takes them on a tour of New York City. And it's actually kind of funny. And then they all meet back with Beta Ray Bill to go hang out at the person Thor's bonded with, Jake Olsen. They're all at his house, and they're all watching Jeopardy. It's hilarious. And there's some great, legitimately funny scenes with Volstagg as well. So there's also that. There are also some great fights in here. I mean, we also have Gladiator in here. A gladiator from the future comes to fight Thor to stop some kind of weird alternate reality. Well, some kind of weird future where Thor takes over the mankind. They just tell you it's going to be called The Reigning and stuff like that. So, yeah, and you also have a very obscure Thor villain, Arthur Zrako, who is he is a classic Thor villain. But also, the big thing in here, the kind of overarching thing, is Malekith taking the Casket of Ancient Winners and, preparing for this big attack on Asgard. Which is nothing, when I say preparing, it's just him talking about how awesome the Casket of Ancient Winners is, and just planning, and, just telling his goblins and stuff like that, oh, hey, we're going to take over Asgard, that's fun, right? When he takes over Asgard, he does it hard, and then later on, it kind of causes fallout that leads to Ulik and his men attacking Asgard. So pretty much back to back, and you follow Sif as she's trying her damnedest to pretty much, what was I going to say? Trying to control the realm. Even she thinks she's unworthy of such honor being bestowed upon her for such a big task being thrust upon her is something she was not expecting. The other stuff in here, like I said, it follows Jake Olsen and his partner Christine, who has a big reveal for her at the end of the volume. When I saw that, I was like, well, actually, they kind of accidentally spoil it a bit when she starts talking differently, and I was like, oh, I know who that is. And then when it was revealed, I was like, oh, that's not a shocker at all. But yeah, and you've also got Jane Foster, but Jane and Thor are friends. They're just friends. There's no romantic relationship in here. Uh, among other things, is that what was I going to say? I'm really sorry, guys. I'm really scatterbrained today. But among other things, you've got the Wrecking Crew. You've got Absorbing Man in this two-part story that kind of kicks off everything, and then you've got the Wrecking Crew. Then it moves on to Malekith and Hela and all this other stuff, and it's a lot of stuff for 10 issues. Here's the thing, though. There's so much stuff in here sometimes that I think Dan Jurgens wanted to have too much in too little. He had to play with so much stuff all at once, and yeah, it was kind of freaking crazy. It got a little hectic at times, trying to balance out everything that was going on, even though this is the span of 10 issues. But all in all, it is a good story. I mean, if you're looking for all things Thor, I would highly recommend this. This is if you just watched Thor: The Dark World and you're looking for something with the character of Malekith in it, I'd suggest the Jason Aaron run, Accursed, going on right now. Or if you're looking for classic Malekith, I would highly recommend this as well. This is totally a lot of fun. I would definitely recommend this because I don't think a lot of people talk about Dan Jurgens' run. I think it's pretty good from what I've read of it. This and a few other things. But let me tell you this. It kind of switches a lot between artists. Now, the first 4 volumes of Dan Jurgens' run has John Romita Jr. in it. This, however, has about 3 different artists. The first 3 issues are done by Erik Larsen. Most of you guys would know that's the creator of Savage Dragon. And his artwork is a bit jarring because it's trying a bit too hard to be Jack Kirby artwork, and it clearly doesn't show. And then for most of it, you've got Adam Kubert, which is amazing. His artwork's amazing. Adam Kubert's artwork is amazing. But for one issue, the guest artist is Stuart Immonen, and he's pretty good too. But those first 3 issues with Erik Larsen, it's very jarring. I will say that straight up right about now. But again, like I said, if you're a Thor fan or you want to get into Thor stuff, I think you could read this. I think you could read this without any common knowledge of what else in Dan Jurgens' run. I think it's a good possibility that you could get into this. If anything else, if you want to read something with the the character of Malekith, I would recommend this. All in all, guys, this is a lot of fun. Some great stories in here. There's also one other thing before I go that I want to talk about, is that Thor brings up God twice in this series, in this story. One time is when Thor and the Warriors 3 are talking, are just walking down the street, and this kid says, oh, it's Thor. People say he's a god, but Father Daniel says, he's not a god, because there's only one. And Hogan hears this and he freaks out like, that child needs to shut his fucking mouth. To which Thor is like, oh, it's cool. And Thor talks about, there's a being out there whose radiance is even more powerful than, all of Asgard. And he kind of alludes to there is an actual god in the Marvel Universe. And yeah, it is kind of cool that how they play around with it, that Thor fully acknowledges that there is something greater out, there's a being out there that is even, whose power is even greater than all of Asgard. And then they allude to it again that they kind of pretty much say that a lot of people in the in church, preachers and priests and other religions don't take too kindly to Thor for being, because a lot of people think he claims to be a thunder, the actual god of thunder. And people don't like that, but when Thor goes into a hospital to check on Hogan after his after fighting the Wrecking Crew, he encounters a priest, walking out of the room, and the priest tells him, "Hey, good job, man, and you're doing a lot of great work." And Thor says, "Oh, you're welcome. I get a lot of he gets nothing. He pretty much says, I get nothing. I receive only ire from people in your profession. It is good to see." Someone of your caliber acknowledge me and thank me. So it was kind of interesting to see them play with that a bit of Thor, getting some angry looks from from other religious groups out there, and I'm surprised Jurgens got to play with that a little bit. It's not out there. Those are the only two occurrences that it happens. It's not like it's not a big story. It's just something that is just put in there. All right, guys. I think I've spoken enough about this review. But if you, I got lucky. Just keep in mind. Hopefully, you guys can find it for a discount price. That's all I'm gonna say. Is that I hope that you can find this book for a discount price, because this is a $30 book. I'm pretty sure on Amazon it's a little cheaper, but counting shipping, handling, that might be a little difficult too. So I got extremely lucky, and hopefully maybe you can find it somewhere with that's even lower. But keep in mind, guys, yeah, it's about $30 this whole trade. But anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'm out.